can possibly be. Take another look at how he got that way. That's Hall running from one side of the field all the way to the other as they're going up to the line to try and orchestrate the spike. The nearest defender steps up on the inside receiver, but no one sees Hall until it is much too late. And just like that, the Broncos pull off a miraculous comeback and a miraculous win. They take it by a score of 41-38. I'm looking at the heads of the DBs shaking on my program. Dominic, what thought is going through your mind as you watch how that one ended?
Oh, I'm sick. I hate it. I know some people were excited. And it's an exciting ending. That's fun. But I hate to see it. The poor guy was looking off, trying to figure out what he's going to do in the next play, and now he is the GOAT of this situation. I don't even know that DB's name, but I'm paying for him.
Lewis, is there someone who is to blame for this? I mean, is this obviously it's a mistake and someone shouldn't be that wide open, but how do you see it? As a former defensive back, tell me what you see here.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the safety right there and that shot right there telling the corner get out there because he wasn't looking. You know, when things are happening that fast, sometimes that kind of thing, I'm surprised it doesn't happen quite a little bit more often, to be quite honest with you. And my heart breaks for Jason Candle, the head coach at Toledo, who I know personally, man, because I know he's a darn good coach. And, you know, that kind of loss just ripped his heart out, man. That's a hard one. That's a hard one to watch.
Don't blame the corners. If you saw it safe to get out there,
it is the corners. You know what? Because you know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen. You stay out there in your little corner. You know, you always think that you can just do what you want to do. And now look what happened. You saw what the safety was going. He was like, get out there. And look what happened.
Well, you get out there then. He should have went. The safety should have went. Don't tell me. Go cover him.
That's probably, you're right. He probably should have.
D. Wood, all I know is that I've still got like the scar tissue from Dan Marino in the legendary fake spike game against the Jets. So that's the only thing I can think of when I see that play.
What? Everything comes back to the Jets with you. Like when it's all bad, it all comes back to the Jets.
Correction.
My heart hurts, man. It hurts.
Correction. Nothing good ever comes back to the Jets with me. Only the terrible moments come back to the Jets with me. Okay, anyway, crazy finish last night, and there you have it. Meanwhile, let's get back to the NFL and the Patriots. Off to one of their worst starts in decades. They're 3-5. That's third place in the AFC East. This week on WEEI, Cam Newton addressed the expectations that come with playing in New England and how he sees this season playing out.
2020, 2021, New England Patriots will look much different than what 2003, 2013, 2016, 15. You know, and I'm not in competition with nobody. I understand this is New England. I understand there's a standard. Realistically, you know, this team's destiny has its own fate, and it's not like anything else that has been seen before. So we're halfway through a season where everything that we want is in front of us. When I said we're close, we're extremely close.
All right, so I feel that there are a lot of directions a conversation can go from there, but let's start with this one. Louis Riddick is a person who builds teams. Do you feel like Cam Newton is playing for his career the second half of this season? He needs to convince someone, whether it's Bill or one of the other 31 teams in the NFL, that he should be a starting quarterback next year. Is that the way you see it?
I don't think there's any question that this latter part of the season is important to him, both individually and collectively for this football team, because people want to see whether or not Cam can string together some performances that are very similar to what he just put on tape last week against the New York Jets, or just a couple days ago, which is winning football. And the previous week before that, it was winning football against Buffalo minus the fumble at the end of the game. He was driving them down to tie and or win that football game. If he can do that consistently, he gives this team a chance. Everyone knows that the margin for error for this football team overall is very slim. But I think people are attaching too much to Cam's performance. Although he is the quarterback, I get that. And he needs to play better than he had played previous to these past 2 weeks. I get that. But really what is ailing the New England Patriots isn't Cam Newton. It's the lack of weapons on the perimeter, which we know that they don't have, although Jacoby Myers has stepped up big time over the past 2 weeks. And it's the defense. Look at this defense that has just been ripped apart on the first two levels, at defensive line and linebacker. They don't have anybody. They just are bereft of talent right now. They don't have any on that side of the ball, which is really, to me, what is going to hold them back, if anything holds them back. But as I said previous to Monday Night Football, before we went on the air, I am never, and I mean never, counting out this coaching staff, this head coach in particular, the offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, because these two are two of the best that have ever done it in terms of being a tandem. And Bill will always have something up his sleeve to get his team to play at their very best. So don't count them out, although it's going to be a tough road for them over the next month.
Shefty, I saw you shaking your head or nodding your head, through a lot of that. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, I think Lewis hit on a lot of key points there, and I think this is one of the reasons that Tom Brady ultimately left after last season. He saw that the cupboard was bare, and he thought it would be better to move on to a place where there was more offensive talent. So would you rather play in Tampa or another city where there are a lot of weapons, or would you rather play in New England where there was not a wide receiver on the field for New England on Monday night that had been drafted? There was not a tight end on the field who had been drafted any higher than the 7th round. So we are going after Cam Newton, or people are going after Cam Newton, when really there are a lack of weapons surrounding him, and it's unfair to judge Cam Newton based on the quality of players around him, despite the fact, as Lewis said, that Jacoby Myers came through big time, not just Monday night, but in recent weeks, and has played very well. There aren't the type of weapons that we're used to seeing in New England, and that, to me, is as much the story as Cam being inconsistent.
Yeah, it's another reminder. They were the #1 defense in the league last year. They had a lot of players opt out. Monday night, they played again without Stephon Gilmore, who was the defensive player of the year. So clearly, this is not them at full strength, whatever full strength might have been. Shefty, though, what is your sense from around the league of Cam? Just to whatever degree he can be evaluated fairly based on what it is, what is your sense of what they think of him there and what the sense of him around the league is long term?
Listen, I think everybody recognizes the type of talent that he has, and he's scheduled to be a free agent this offseason. He's on that 1-year deal. And so if New England can't use him, then I think that would call into question whether any team can use him. There aren't that many teams out there looking for a new starting quarterback. We are going to be in a draft in the spring that has got 4 or 5 first-round draft picks that'll be filling holes. So there is more of a surplus of quarterbacks than there is a demand for quarterbacks. Everybody wants one, but there have a lot of teams that have filled that need already. And if Cam can't do it in New England, I think that's going to raise questions to other teams as well.
What is your sense, D. Wood? If you had to guess right now, if you had to bet on it, would you bet that he is someone's starter week 1 next year?
I would say no right now. I think Cam has been inconsistent, and a lot of that has to do with the weapons that's in New England. There's just been a talent drain, particularly on the offensive side with New England, and it's having an effect on Cam Newton. You can't ask Cam Newton to do everything at the quarterback position. I think it'll negatively impact him in free agency.
See what winds up happening. He said they're close. The 7 teams going to make the playoffs in the AFC this year. As Lewis said, if you rule out the Patriots, you rule them out at your own peril. We'll take a short break as we continue. Another AFC playoff hopeful, the Browns. Baker's